Hard times are coming. With inflation and everything else going on, I think it's really important to look at what's happening to the US dollar. It's really not that products are worth more, it's that our dollar is worth less and less all the time. It is constantly devaluing. And with all of the rampant spending in this country and things like that, that just adds inflation over and over, and that's why it keeps going up. And we've also got some other stuff that's really hurting the US dollar, and one of those things is a few weeks ago Russia actually pegged their currency to the gold standard, so that helps stabilize their currency. And it's a smart thing to do for a country, honestly. Any country, when you are like the US, we have nothing backing the US dollar. It's just a fiat currency and nothing backs it. It's just magically worth what we think it's worth. That's all it is. There's nothing backing it up though. And currently we're in this situation where our US dollar is pegged to the petrol, to oil and things like that, and it's been that way since I think the 70s they did that. But now Saudi Arabia is also looking at going away from, they're considering leaving the US dollar for oil. And that, again, if that happens, that would definitely hurt the US dollar even more than it already is. And where we currently are with all the issues, it's just, there's a good chance that the US dollar could collapse and go completely out from under us. Washington is already looking into digital currency, a US dollar currency that's digital. They put out an executive order back in the middle of March to investigate like cryptocurrencies and things like that, all these different digital currencies, and to investigate a US dollar currency. So it's not, they need to get a grasp on the digital currency to regulate it. So if they're going to have their own US digital currency. So I have put a couple of articles about the Russians pegging their currency to gold, and also an article about the Saudi Arabia considering ditching the US dollar, which would be quite a problem for us, unfortunately, but we can't control that. That right now, I think it is so important to look at what can we do to help live through this. If this continues, I mean, the prices are constantly rising at the store. It's already difficult for many people to get heat and food, medication. You know, a lot of people are skipping one or the other and doing what they can just to survive already. And as this progresses and gets worse, we are going to have to do more and more and more. And I think it is so important to stay calm and be flexible, because with shortages and inflation, we've got to be flexible and be prepared to use other products when we can't get something because it's not available, or it's not financially, we can't afford it anymore because it's become so expensive. I think we really need to be flexible in those aspects and try and use a different product. Everybody doesn't grind their own wheat, make their wheat flour or anything. And when things like that happen, when we have big diet changes, we want to be really careful and kind of slowly work yourself into it. So if you are planning to eat things that you don't normally eat, I would start trying to eat them now, and just getting them in your diet little by little, because when you have a massive change, it can wreak havoc on your digestive system. And we do not need any of that in the midst of all this trouble. Other things that we can do right now to try and get through this the best we can is stock up. stock up the best you can. Everybody has a different ability, what they're able to stock up. And I think it's really important for you to do what you can do and the most you can do. This stock up stuff is not going to last forever. And if you look at other countries in a currency collapse, it's not fixed overnight. This takes a long, long time. So we really need to be prepared for something like this to happen. And you may have 6 months or a year's worth of food stocked up, or maybe only 3 months. What else can you do? I know I talk a lot about growing your own food, but I think it is so important. Grow what you can, as much as you can. If it's just a few things, it's better than nothing. It'll help sustain you. It'll help stretch what you have in storage. Really, any bit that you can grow. If you can put containers all over your porch, or your deck, patio, whatever you have out in the grass. If you only have a tiny yard, you could line it with tubs or pots or whatever and grow as much as you can. It really will help. You don't think that it's going to help that much, but it really does. You can get weeks and weeks worth of food off one plant. I mean, grow a zucchini plant. You get one every day just about off it for a month. There's ways to do it, and try to see what grows best in your area is going to be the most helpful for you. It may not be your favorite thing to eat, and you may not want to eat it every day, but it'll keep you alive and sustain you. And with your other foods that you have stored, it will really make a difference on how long you're able to last. Another thing I think we can be doing right now is get to know our neighbors. A lot of us don't know our neighbors, and they can be very helpful, and you can help each other really in the long run. If you're able to grow beets really well and your neighbor is able to grow tomatoes really well, you might be able to trade some stuff off and share so you have a better variety and things like that. Being able to barter for things you have. You may have a little extra of something that they don't have. Helping each other is really going to be the best thing that we can do. Not that you can trust everybody, and don't say what you have with anybody. I don't think that is a very good thing to do. You don't want them to know what you have, but coming up with a plan, if you get to know them a little bit, it's going to be easier if you do need to say, hey, you got a cup of flour? I've got whatever you have, a can of green beans. It may work out great for you guys. Just getting to know them a little bit, what kind of people they are, things like that. It can be very helpful in the long run. And if you know each other, it'll be easier to work together when something happens. And you guys will be able to barter, talk to each other, maybe give ideas to each other, things like that. It can be very helpful. And a lot in the Depression, people helped each other. And I know times are very different now. There are lots of lunatics out there that just feel like everybody owes them everything, and they're going to be a problem. But not everybody's going to be a problem. A lot of people want to do the right thing, help each other. So I think it's important to figure out who those people are. You may have a neighbor that's a lunatic, and get to know them. It's good to know if they are a lunatic. We also should all be working on skills right now, things that we're not used to. If you're not used to making bread, learning how to make bread right now while bread's still available is a good thing to do. Bread can be tricky sometimes. There are recipes out there that are fairly easy, but all recipes fail sometimes or will miss one little thing. But working on those skills, making sure your fire skills are good, knowing where your water is, how to filter water, what your plans are, working on all those skills, how to mend your clothes, do things that you may normally hire to have done, or things like that. We are not going to be able to afford that forever, and I think it's important that we're able to do it ourselves. The more we can do for ourselves, the more self-sufficient we are, the better chances we all have to make it through this and come out in a much better situation. And that is it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.